Happy Wednesday and welcome back to the Fuller Homestead. My name is Brian. We got a lot to cram into a short amount of time today, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about our plan and then we're just going to get right into it. We're going to grab some 2x4s from here and continue working on our coop project and do some roosting. Now, I did have a comment from one of our subscribers, Steven, who suggested that it might be great to make the nesting boxes on the back wall and kind of frame that in and then cut out a back section where we could access the eggs. And I think that is a great idea. So we're probably gonna do that. It just won't happen today because we've got to do that. We've also got to get started on the frame for the chicken tractor because these chicks are growing like crazy. So they're gonna need to be out on grass pretty soon. And then finally, I've got to run about an hour away to a town called Bologna to pick up some rabbit cages that I bought on Facebook Marketplace. I'll try to get some footage of that as well. We got a full day ahead, so let's get to it. The plan is to cut these down into 6-foot sections. I'm gonna go ahead and cut braces for both sides of the coop. So we're gonna do 2 6-foot boards for this side, 2 6-foot boards for this side. Then we're gonna take our 2x2s we bought the other day. We're gonna go ahead and level out one side of that, and then we'll save moving the nesting boxes for another day. So we got our sections in here and they're cut down to 6 feet. I know as this lays out, it's going to look like we're wasting a lot of space going this way. I toyed with the idea of cutting a different angle here rather than a 45, maybe like a 22.5, something like that to raise it up higher. But here's the problem. We want 18 inches or about 18 inches off of this wall for these top birds to be sitting so that their butt's not just right up against it. 18 inches comes out to right about here. So you can see how far off the wall that is. If you go up higher, then you're not even going to be able to put a rung up until way down here. And if you do it too steep, the birds below get pooped on and so on and so forth. Here is where it sits. I'll show you the floor. So at this angle, you can see how close it is to this railing of the nesting box. That footprint's about 2 feet away from that wall. So let's go ahead and tag these in. I brought some hinges for these. We'll do our measurements. I hope by watching all of this work we're having to do that you will think twice about coming home with 60 chickens if you don't have the space yet. As I'm trying to do all of that math to fit all these birds in it, there's just not a perfect scenario. Let me show you what I'm talking about. The experts, they say that the top bar on your rung should be 12 to 18 inches off that back wall. Your space between those bars should be 12 to 15 inches, and your space for each bird should be 8 to 12 inches, with the lowest rung about 12 to 18 inches off the ground. Here are the numbers that we're gonna go with, and you'll realize they are the smaller numbers. Now let's look at the 2 different options that we're considering. The first one, our original plan, I can do 4 7-foot rungs down that long side of the wall. I can do 2 5-foot sections of horizontal roosting, and then that total would give us space for 57 birds. That doesn't count the nesting boxes, the perches there, or any that might want to sleep in there, and it gives you that open space. Now, my buddy Steven, who suggested we do the nesting boxes in the back and the railings on each side, which I like that scenario, but because of that, I can only fit 6 5-foot sections, which only gives me space enough for 45 birds. Now you're like, well, Brian, why did we go from basically 4 rungs aside to 3 rungs aside? Well, let me show you. If you go with the 5-foot sections on each side, because of the angle you need to get off the wall and to get those rungs 12 inches apart, you lose your bottom rung. So that's why I can only have 3 here and 3 here, because if I did a 4th one, there'd be 1 here and 1 there, and they just would be beside each other and they wouldn't sit on them. You might be saying, well, Brian, just put 1 up there and then at least you got another 5-foot section. Well, you do, and that leaves you enough space at 8 inches per bird to do about 7 more birds, which brings you up to 52, which is still 5 less than what we would have if you were to do it the other way. That was a lot of thinking. My brain hurts. Let's put up some rungs. able to get our 4 bars in 7 feet long on this one side. I did add one more 2x4 on that far side just for a little more rigidity on that end. I mean, we're not raising 80-pound birds or anything, but I think it not only looks better, but will probably help us with avoiding long-term warping over time. Now, we still have to put the sections in that go horizontal over here that are about 5 feet long. But what we're gonna do now is I'm gonna clean up the area, take a lunch break, and then when I come back from lunch, I'm gonna head to the shop and start doing some cuts for our framing on the chicken tractors. And the reason being is this can wait just a little bit longer. We've got to get the birds ready to be out on the grass here before much longer. As I looked at them this morning and was changing their water, it just seems crazy how many more feathers are coming in. So I feel a little bit more pressure to get that done right now. Back in the shop, about to give the table saw and miter saw quite the workout as we do some cuts for our chicken tractor. Now up front, I wanted to let you know we're following very closely the design that's in this book called Polyface Designs by Joel Salatin. We purchased this book, actually pre-ordered it. So it came out in 2020, but up to this point, we haven't actually built anything from this book. And I'll tell you, the majority of the stuff in here is really too big for the scale that we're working. But the chicken tractor we can do. I did want to show you how it is laid out for you. Like if you've never built anything in your life, this is the book to be able to follow and build some quality things because it gives you a wonderful cut list. It gives you every single nut, bolt, screw that you're gonna need, and then shows you step by step how to put it together, what sections. It's like my kids' Lego instructions where they will highlight certain bricks, like this one goes here. This is the Lego manual for farming. Highly recommend this book. It's not cheap, I'll give you that, but the stuff that's in here is a wealth of design, especially if you're just not into carpentry. It's not your skill set, but you can follow directions. This will be it. We're going to build a 10 by 12 chicken tractor that holds about 75 birds. Guess what? We have way less than 75 birds, but we're still in the upper 50s, so they'll have plenty of room in this. Let's get started. Rookie YouTuber mistake. I thought I was recording. Turns out I wasn't. I went ahead and changed the blade in the table saw. It's a pretty easy process. Unplug it. I take one crescent wrench. I put it down on the inside, one crescent wrench on the outside. And instead of righty-tighty, it's righty-loosey because it's a left-handed thread. So anyway, real easy, 10-inch blade. I believe it's a Home Depot brand that I put in there. Anyway, it's 60 teeth. So we'll see if that makes it any smoother. It's just about time for me to go inside, clean up a little bit so I can make the drive down to Bologna to pick up those cages. This is what we've got so far out of our cut list. It doesn't look like a whole lot, but you have to understand that basically I had to take whatever spare lumber I had around and then make it work. So we cut down 2x4s to 2x2s, which wasn't a big deal, but then I had to take a lot of 1x2s and cut those down out of 2x4s and then 2x6s, and it was a lot. The only thing that I want to buy are some 1x6s because I don't have anything 12 feet long that I can use for that. I think that's gonna have to wait for another day because it is time for us to call it. I'm gonna have to empty the truck bed so I can fit the cages in, and then I'll catch you on the road. Well, I ended up going ahead and jumping in the shower because I could not stand to be with myself in a room, much less a truck. So I went ahead and changed clothes, and we are on our way to Bologna. We hit a little bit of rain. It's been kind of cool. I did not get my phone out in time to show you the amazing rainbow that we just missed, but you know, you can Google that and see what one looks like if you want. We're gonna meet up at a grocery store in downtown Bologna. Assuming it's downtown, it's off of Main Street. So let's say it is. I think I've been to Bologna once in my life. The guy that I'm picking up the cages from prefers not to be on the video. Totally understand and respect that. There's not a whole lot of people that want to be seen with me, especially when you know that it's going to be viewed by nearly 50 people. About 48 of those are my family. That's kind of how it's going right now. Let's do the snap thing, and then we'll be in Bologna. Here we go. Just made the exchange. We got all of these cages right here. One's fully put together. The rest still need to be assembled. And then also in the truck, we were able to get some water bottles and some feeders. right there. Very excited about that. Want to thank Josh for the wonderful conversation. He also did rabbits here in Arkansas and gave me some advice on things to do and not to do. He pretty much scared me off from having rabbits in the summer here. That's going to do it for today's video. I hope you guys have a great Wednesday. We're going to just make the hour drive back with all of our goodies, head back to the homestead, have some dinner with the family, and call it a day. The next time we see you, it'll be on Friday. By that time, we hope that you will be a subscriber if you're not already. We hope that you will have liked this video with a thumbs up. And then more importantly, actually, I don't even know if it's more important. My youngest son says it is. Go ahead and hit that bell so that you can be notified when new videos pop up. We try to put them up every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Have a great Wednesday. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.